All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruach Double honors to our elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to those that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Nathan Yala from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. And I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. And as you can see on the title, on the screen right here, it says the real drug lords. The real drug lords. And this is a video that I saw on, of course, TikTok. And it seems to be an older clip. You can tell by the videography or the quality of the video that this is something that was probably made back in the late 90s or early 2000s. Okay. And he goes into how the drugs and the drug system, the war on drugs, was they were actually the ones that were bringing in the drugs and creating this situation, okay, that we have now. Even down to what you're seeing today, the fentanyl and the cocaine and the marijuana and all of these different drugs, right, that people have access to. Well, it was the government that was bringing it in, and we all knew. Okay, we knew, but they created all of these different ways to profit off of these drugs. So one, they bring the drugs in, so of course people buy the drugs. Two, you criminalize drugs, right? So then now the justice system is making money off of prosecuting you. Then the prison systems are making money for prosecuting you. Okay, then you have drug treatment centers, right? And then as he says in this video, the people become docile. They become easier to tame, okay, because they don't have they don't have any mental clarity or spirituality for them, right? They're only thinking carnality because their minds are gone because they're on drugs, okay? And drugs do have a very profound effect on how you think and how you move. Even down to little stuff like grooving. Grooving too much can mess you up. Drinking too much can mess you up. Okay, that's why all of these things, have to be done in moderation or not at all, because these things really mess you up, okay, over long periods of time. And they knew that. That's why they did it. They knew that putting these drugs on the streets, they knew that how people over time would eventually start to behave, okay? So I'm going to start off with a quick precept, Isaiah 29 and 15, and it says, woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? You see, and that's what they do. They do all of these things in secret. They do all these things in shadow, right? And they don't think that they think they can get away with it because they've done it all in secret. They have all the power. They have all the money. They have all the resources. Who's going to stop them? Huh? And that's what they're saying. Who seeth us and who knoweth us? Like, nobody knows that we're doing it. Who sees us? Nobody's going to stop us. Okay. Verse 16, it says, surely your turning of things upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay. Right? For, you know what? That was it. That was pretty much it. Verse 15. Okay. So I'm going to play this video. Well, actually, before I play that, let me grab another preset. I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs. 15 and 3. And it says, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. You see that? So the Lord sees you. You ain't hiding nothing. Okay? And just because you're not getting judged right now, don't mean you ain't going to get judged. The Lord is going to get his judgment against you. All right? So without further ado, let's hear this man from CIA speak. And he's going to go over who these real drug lords are. Okay?
Top, this deeply involved in the drug smuggling and providing airplanes for the drug smugglers, when you have our big bankers laundering the money and bringing it back into the system. If they were really interested in purging our society from drugs, you could do it pretty quickly if you went after the bankers so they couldn't profit from it anymore, and then you impeached Bush and J.O. Lehman and a bunch of other people at that level, and just the information that they have, and started locking people up at that level, then start down, and you could dry this thing up. Then God knows at some point, but they're not going to do that. That's the big bucks, that's the big money. They don't like civil liberties. Give them more control over the people. Now, you have that kind of money and tolerance of the thing at the top. The White House involved, Oliver North getting memos back and forth with Robert Owens saying these people were working or smuggling drugs, knowing about it, giving protection, Ed Meese giving protection, fending off investigations. George Bush, through Greg Rodriguez and the others, actually flying the drugs. Now, this makes an utter mockery of their claim of a war against drugs. So then you come back and look at the drug testing. Clearly, they're not interested in cleaning drugs out of the society. So why are they trying to get into the testing? And that's where you become very suspicious, because that's a tremendously effective tool for population control.
As a means of social control, that also is another reason why drugs are tolerated in the U.S. and other capitalist countries, because it is a form of social control. People are stoned out on drugs, addicted to drugs, obsessed with drugs.
Drunk.
They're going to not be social rebels.
Exactly. Between commercial television and lots of crack, you can take a lot of the guts out of the society without question. When you have the top this deeply involved in the drug smuggling and providing airplanes for the drug smugglers, when you have our big bankers laundering the money and bringing it back into the system, if they were really interested in purging our society from drugs, you could do it pretty quickly if you went after the bankers so they couldn't profit from it anymore, and then you impeached Bush and J.O. Lehman and a bunch of other people at that level, and just the information that they have, and started locking people up at that level, then start down, and you could dry this thing up. Then God knows at some point, but they're not going to do that. That's the big bucks, that's the big money. They don't like civil liberties. Give them more control over the people. Now, you have that kind of money and tolerance of the thing at the top. The White House involved, Oliver North getting memos back and forth with Robert Owens saying these people were working or smuggling drugs, knowing about it, giving protection, Ed Meese giving protection, fending off investigations. George Bush, through Greg Rodriguez and the others, actually flying the drugs. Now, this makes an utter mockery of their claim of a war against drugs. So then you come back.
Right. So, this shows you that this dude is a damn, he's a hypocrite to the max. Easy E, Sleazy E is a hypocrite to the max, man. Now, brothers, we always go over that word projection, and I'm not going to bring up the definition, but, we all know that this man, he projects everything he does onto other people. Okay? And everything that he says, you can guarantee that he's going to do the opposite. If he says there's a war on drugs, there's really a war on you. And he's bringing the drugs in. Okay? If he says there's weapons of mass destruction, you best believe they're not. Okay? Everything this man does is a pretext to try to take or steal something from somebody else or to control. Okay? Just made me think of a precept. All right, so I'm gonna go to the book of John. The book of John 10. It says, "The thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy." You see that? So this devil is a thief, and he only comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. That's why everything he does is shrouded in lies. That's why this man is so goddamn wicked. That's why he brings drugs and all of these different diabolical things and convince the people to partake in it. normalizing pedophilia, normalizing drug consumption, normalizing obesity. You know, I work in a restaurant, boy. Let me tell you something, man. Everybody that comes in there is fat. It's fat. But then here, look at this. Like there are chemicals inside of the food I'm reading on the package, and this shit causes cancer. It causes food addiction. It causes obesity. It's in the food. To show you how diabolical this damn man is and what he does, he's putting these same drugs into the food so you can become addicted to the food. And it's not even food. The FDA class, that's why it's called the Food and Drug Administration, because drugs are food are drugs and drugs are food. Elder Apostle Tahar did a video about that years ago. I did a video about it years ago, showing you the codes, how they have the same code for drugs as they do for food. Okay? This devil is diabolical, man. All right? I'm going to read it and continue on. It says, John 10:10, it says, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. You see that? Because right now, we're not living in a life of abundance, man. On every level, we're living the lowest possible life in this world. That's why we need the Lord to come back and clean this place up, because this devil ain't going to do it. His spirit ain't upright. All right. He's bringing in the drugs, the very drugs that are killing and destroying people. You know, the fentanyl, you know, the fentanyl knock. His people are taking that shit. Okay. And he's the one that's allowing it to come in. And you get all these, it's fentanyl found in marijuana and it's fentanyl. Bro, he doing it. This man is the one that's doing the shit. He controls it. We just saw that these people have been bringing in the drugs. The CIA have been, and we all knew this. We all knew this. We all knew this, but see, you know, that's why, you know, y'all Jake's gonna be destroyed, because y'all want to continue. Y'all want this shit to go on. Y'all hearing about all this evil, but y'all still want it. All right. So I'm gonna grab another one, because, you know, again, Esau thinks that he can't be seen. This is Ecclesiasticus 23:19. This is Ecclesiasticus 23:19, and it says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. You see that? So even though y'all think y'all hiding it, y'all think this is in secret, the Lord sees y'all, man. As I just read in the book of Proverbs, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the wicked and the good. You can't get you not getting away, man. You're just running up a tab. Okay? That's all you're doing is running up a tab. You're not getting away. All right? You damn devil. You know, you more and more you find out, man, there's just so much depth to this nigga's wickedness, man. This is Daniel 8:25, and it says, and through his policies he shall cause a craft to prosper. See, this man created policies to allow banks to launder money. These multinational banks that are controlled by the federal government, he allowed drug money to be laundered into the system. That's what this man did. The same things that are illegal that you'll go to prison for, he been doing. He does it and gets away with it. Or in the eyes of men, he gets away with it, but he's not getting away with nothing. Okay, just running up a tab. That's all he doing. All right? And he creates laws and policies to make this stuff happen. Okay? It says, and he shall magnify in his heart, and by peace he should destroy many. And that's what he do today. Go around talking about some peace, peace, peace. You see what happened in Israel when they released the hostages, and Trump talking about some, it's going to stick. And then a couple of days later, they bombing them again. Okay? Like, when are you people going to understand across the world that this man honors no contract or no covenant? Okay? My main man Shahid Bolson said, I watched the video that he said, yeah, they just put things on paper just so they can have a documentation to wave around. They don't honor that shit. They don't honor the document. The documentation is absolutely worthless because they don't honor it. They'll sign a treaty. You'll sign a treaty and y'all say, okay, we agree upon this on paper, blah, 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 blah. And then he'll come bomb you and destroy your home and all of these, and then wave that piece of it and say, no, this can't be us because we signed the paper. Like he said, bro, the paper don't mean shit. Okay? This man has no honor. He shows no mercy. Only thing he does is wickedness. Okay? That's all he knows is how to be wicked, how to be evil, how to destroy. Okay? How to take, how to maim, how to lie, how to cheat. Okay? How to get away with things that he ought not to be able to get away with. That's all this is. Okay? I just can't. I had the precept that just came into my mind. I'm trying to, Lord willing, it to come back. I think it's this one. Let's try it. Psalm 64. What's up with this mouse, man? Why I keep doing that? Yeah, this is it. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64. I'm going to start at verse 2. And it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity. You see that? Okay? This devil, King David's asking the Lord to hide him from the secret counsel because these dudes come together. Yeah, we're going to bring drugs into the United States. We're going to launder it in. Okay, then we're going to create prison systems that everybody that takes these drugs, they're going to go into the prison systems. And then, of course, we're going to have rehab clinics and we're going to have alcohol and drugs on every corner, and then we're going to create all these programs to lock up people who took our drugs. And then we're going to make all the money. Ha 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 ha. That's the type of shit that these people do. Thinking that they just came up with some clever scheme to just destroy somebody's life. For what? Because he's the wicked. Okay? It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity. That's all they do is they think about how they can do evil. They can't sleep unless they do wickedness. All right? Let me pull that up too. Oh yeah. Let me get that next. Okay. It says, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. You see that? We're going to put these drugs in there. We're going to put these guns in there. We're going to play all these rap videos and had them fucking them these women and had them out here selling drugs to one another. And then we're going to throw them in prison. Okay? And you wondering, like, what the hell is going on? Like, I didn't even know anything was this was happening. I didn't even realize it, man. I was just trying to feed my family. And now here I am doing 30 years in prison. You know? Because a lot of these jakes out here back in the day that was selling drugs, they were just trying to feed their families. And it just spun out of control. Okay? And that's exactly what the plan was. It says they encouraged themselves in an evil manner. Yeah, just go ahead and kill them, man. Throw them drugs in them systems. In there. Throw the drugs at them, man. You know? Let them get high. Let them get messed up. Let them get this. Let them get that. You know, let them die, and then we'll profit from it. All right. It says they commune of layering snares privily. You see that? Again. You create a system that penalizes people for the very same drugs that you brought in. Okay, as the that wacko dude, the one thing that he did say, David Icke, a problem reaction solution. They create the problem, the people react, and then they come with the solution. Okay, lock them up. But y'all are the ones who did it. These people were getting along, didn't have any issues. You know, they still had a remnant of a family, a remnant of a society. These people were working together. You know, Jake didn't really not get along with each other on the level that they did until the 80s, man. During the 70s and mid 80s, you had violence, but it wasn't like it was when it got into the mid 90s and the 2000s. Okay, when these devils start bringing them drugs and them guns into Jake communities, and turning the women, smutting the women out in the holes, man, that's when things really took a turn for the worse. Okay, and that was a carefully contrived plan. Okay, that's why it says in 64 and 6, it says they search out iniquities. They figure out what they can do to get you to go off. Okay, to get you off your mental compass, to get you off the straight and narrow, to get you off the path. They seek that out. Okay? They seek that out, and when you fall for the bait and you say, well, you know, I was just trying to do this, I was just trying to do that, then they lock your ass up and make money from you on that end. You sold their drugs for them, then you get locked up. And now you're spending time and through the prison industrial complex, and the state is paying these private corporations to put you in the bed. Okay? It says, verse 6 again, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. They go deep. Okay? This is why I say there are no good Edomites. There are none. There are no good Edomites. There are no Edomites that are good, that are kind, that what we think of good. They're none. They're all evil. All of them. The women, the children, the men, all of them. Okay? This is how they can turn such a blind eye on all of the atrocities that are happening in the world, because they are evil. They are wicked. They don't see blood being shed as an atrocity. They don't see it that way. They see it as business as usual, just another person dying. Okay? Whether it be one of their own or whether it be a Jake, they don't care. Why isn't there such an outcry of all the children going missing? Well, where's the disparity on that? If you have 500,000 children going missing every year, don't you think that there should be an outcry? That people should be like, what the hell is going on? Absolutely, but it's not in this society. It's not. Okay, these children go missing and nobody say nothing about it. You know, that's 1 million parents that are missing their kids. 500,000 mothers, 500,000 fathers. Okay? Well, these damn devils, man. So this is the book of Proverbs 4. And 6, and it says 4 and 16. So like it says, I'm gonna start at 14. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it. Pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief. They have to do evil. They can't go to sleep unless they do some fucking evil to somebody. Oh my gosh, man, I didn't do nothing bad today. You know, even though their normal day-to-day shit that they do is evil, but they gotta consciously do something evil. To where they, I know I did something evil today. You know? It says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. That's these devils. Okay? The hypocritical Edomite. All right? He has the a little bit more. Verse 17. It says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness and they drink the wine of violence." You see that? That's why we live in an evil, violent world, because these are the type of people that are ruling. Evil and violent truce breakers, accusers, that do everything that they say everybody else is doing. All right? And I'm going to grab one more precept and we'll go ahead and close out. This is the book of Daniel 8. Because this is going to be the end all be all. This is Daniel 8 and 25. And it says, "And through his policies, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand." Okay, so we see all of those things happening, all of the evil, as I said, as I've been going through, the drugs being smuggled. Okay. And it says, "And he shall magnify himself in his heart." And that's what he's doing now, breaking down the system, trying to come with this digital system, telling everybody they got to get it. And everybody thinking that everybody going to listen to him. And they're not. Okay, they're not. You're going to have a huge rebellion against this digital thing. It's already happening. All right. But most people are going to end up taking it when the society completely falls and you're hungry. All right. And it says, "And by peace he shall destroy many." Like I was watching the video last night where they were talking about, I believe it was, I might have just heard it. I might have saw a video. I might have heard it. I can't remember if I heard it or saw it. But basically it went like, they had the AI speaking and the AI was saying, compliance is peace. Okay. Compliance is peace. Compliance is peace. Right. And that's what it kept saying to people. To obey is peace. Right. And that's what the AI was saying. Like basically you won't be catching hell as if you just do what we tell you to do, But the moment that they acquiesce is when they're going to be destroyed, because that's when they're going to get the chip and they're going to have to fall into the system and do what the system tells you. And once you're in this thing, you're not getting out. And it says, "And he shall stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands." And that's exactly what's about to happen. The system is going to fall. All hell is going to break loose. They're going to implement the digital ID, and then it's going to be the war to end all wars. And at the same time that happens, the Lord is going to be coming back. Okay. And he's going to destroy Esau without lifting without hands. It's going to be a divine thing. He's going to show up in power and glory, and he ain't going to need to do all that because he's going to be so much power. Okay. So with that, I'm going to end this thing off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the elder and the apostle, great millstone. And to the next time, I say shalom.